I am finally doing a video on my X95 SBR. So I know there's a ton of videos on the X95 already, but that's because they're pretty awesome. And they're probably much better than what this one's going to be, but we'll give it a shot. This is my SBR X95. This has like a 13 or 13.5 inch barrel. I don't remember exactly, it's somewhere in that area. But it also has this thin butt pad back here. The normal X95 has a thicker one. From what I understand, that's to reach the minimum overall length of, I believe, 26 inches. If you were to put this thin one on your 16-inch X95, then you'd be creating an SBR. I did see, I think it was in a Reddit or something like that, that people suggested going with the 18-inch version, then going with this thin butt pad back here, because a little bit of added barrel length is better than extra butt pad back here. It makes sense to me, especially since I usually tuck mine in pretty tight. Your length of pull is going to be shorter, but your barrel's longer. So I thought that was a pretty solid idea. But I have an SBR here, so it doesn't apply to me. So the SBR version comes with this style grip. It doesn't come with the cutlass like some of the other models. So that's not something that I changed out, that came with it. Some of the things that I added to it, I added a sling right away. It did come with these QD sling attachments, which was definitely an added bonus. I don't think I've had any other of my firearms come with QD swivels, so that was kind of nice. I threw a Primary Arms Micro 3X on here. If you've seen any of my videos, this is one of my favorite sights, if not my favorite sight. So I have them on several of my rifles. I think I have like 6 of them. Moving forward, on this side, we added a Manticore Arms safety selector. I have one on both sides, but I did truncate it. I shortened it down. I felt like the normal length was just too long, and I cut it in half and then Cerakoted it, and that helps keep it from digging into my trigger finger when it's in the fire position. And then I also have one on this side. Back here, I got a Manticore Arms dust cover. It does add a QD sling socket. I didn't add that on there for the socket. I put this on here because I intend to suppress it, and that helps seal up that port and keep the gases from coming out. I did change out the trigger shoe to the Geissele trigger shoe. Honestly, I don't feel like this trigger feels that bad. I know a lot of people complain about Bullpup triggers. I don't have any complaints about this one. I think it feels pretty good. The trigger shoe just kind of gets a little bit flatter. I just like the shape and the style of the Geissele a lot better, but just changing out the trigger shoe, it feels really good. I don't know how well you can tell, but I do have 2 charging handles on here. That was mainly just to see if I could. I don't think I'm gonna be keeping them both on here. I will probably remove this one. This is the older style, and then the newer style comes with this one that it basically pries against a barrel band to help unlock the bolt when you charge it. I did have to do some cutting and notching on the inside of this one in order to get them to both fit. If you were to run 2 charging handles like this older style, you wouldn't have to make any modifications at all. And I believe as well as running dual Manticore folding charging handles, you wouldn't have to make any modifications. You would not be able to run dual charging handles with this larger one. The amount that sticks into the interior of the firearm, there just wouldn't be room for it. There's a little arm that goes in there and pries against the barrel band to give you leverage to get it to unlock. Then I have a Streamlight rail mount 1 on here, mounted with a Haley Strategics Thorntail. This is probably just going to be temporary for now. I'm probably going to get a Picatinny mount for this side, an Arasaka, that's what it is. I'm gonna get an Arasaka Picatinny mount and mount it on this side. It'll drop it down and might tuck it in a little bit better, because right now it kind of sticks off a little bit more than I would like. But the way that I have it mounted with the thorn tail back here, I am able to still bring up my front sight post. Although I don't know how useful that is, since the rear one is blocked with my primary sight. The pressure pad, I just used the 3M adhesive that came with it to attach it kind of at this angle. I have seen people kind of like wedge them in between the bottom side of the Picatinny on one side, but with this being the SBR, this handguard is really short and it wouldn't work like it does on the normal 16 and 18 inch handguards. I do have a BCM vertical grip on here. This is the Picatinny version of it. And then the last thing, I did swap out the muzzle device. This is just an Anderson Arms A2 bird cage, because the A2 that comes on here does not work with my suppressor. And this is the suppressor that I will be using on it for now. This is the Griffin Armament M4 SDK, and it does work with mil-spec sized A2 bird cages and the like. The one that comes on the X95, or at least on this version, it wasn't exactly mil-spec. The wrench flats were, instead of being on the very, I'll just show you. So side by side here we have a mil-spec A2 flash hider and the one that came on the X95. They're similar, but they're not exactly the same. The wrench flats on the mil-spec are back here. The wrench flats for this one are in the middle here instead of on the back. So this guy would not work with my suppressor. This guy will, and it slides down and it locks in between this groove right here and against one of the wrench flats to keep it from rotating. So this wouldn't work, so I just swapped it out with another A2 bird cage. It's from Anderson Arms. And I know the M4 SDK is not a low back pressure suppressor, but it's what I have, so I wanted to at least be able to use something in the meantime. Eventually, when I'm not so broke, I want to get the Huxworks Flow 556 for it, but that suppressor is in the neighborhood of like $1,000 to $1,200 plus the tax stamp, but eventually I do want to get it. So I don't know if I can show the installation of a suppressor or not, because YouTube sucks, but it goes on, and then it's got a gate lock that goes into one of the grooves of the suppressor, and part of that gate lock goes flat against one of the wrench flats of the muzzle device. And that's what it looks like with it installed. It's got a little bit of play. That's just the nature of this suppressor and the way that it locks up. So at this point, I don't know how many rounds I've put through it. I think I'm in the neighborhood of around 75 to 100 rounds. As far as malfunctions, I've had one. I use the term malfunction very loosely here. I've had one, and it was failure to lock back. The bolt failed to lock back on the very first magazine I put through it, and that's it. And I think it was a Lancer mag since. I haven't had any issues. They've locked back, and it could have just been a teething thing where it just had to break in just a slight bit. Who knows? But that's the only thing. It just didn't lock back on the last one. No failure to fires or failure to eject or jams or anything like that. So I've been pretty pleased with it. Again, I don't have a ton of rounds through it either. On a recent camping trip, I did just try it with this suppressor, but I used a different muzzle device. I think it was the VG6 Gamma or something like that. I don't remember. It's a brake, and I did not enjoy having a brake on a Bullpup SBR. That was very concussive, right to the face. It wasn't so enjoyable, but fun to experience. Then put the suppressor on there and didn't have any issues with the suppressor. And I didn't put very many rounds through it with the suppressor on there, but I didn't notice any gas. I can't say that there's anything that I am displeased with on this. I would say that there's a couple of things that I would like to see IWI to improve on the X95. If you had the ability to, when you pull the charging handle back, to rotate it and lock it up like the Tavor 7 and the Desert Tech MDRX, that would be a nice feature. And it's not like they don't offer it on different models, they offer it on the Tavor 7. As well as a 45-degree safety on the Tavor 7. So those are the two things that I would like to see IWI do with the X95. Other than that, I really don't have any other things that I would change. Okay, maybe an adjustable gas block. The Tavor 7 also has that. So maybe have that. I think the 300 Blackout also has an adjustable gas block as well. And if you have any questions or suggestions, leave a comment below. And there's also Amazon links in the description to various products, so check those out if you'd like. And in a future video, we are going to compare the X95 SBR to the Desert Tech MDRX Micron. So be on the lookout for that, and we'll catch you on the next project. See ya.